It's the war that was both eminently predictable and roundly unpredicted. If ever there has been a conflict that underscored the urgent need in the policy world for strategic foresight, it's the one currently raging in Ukraine. For months, our foresight experts have been projecting how the war could break out and, once it did, how it could unfold next. In this latest installment, in early March, soon after Russia invaded Ukraine, we proposed how the war might unfold. At that time, we noted that several factors suggested it was turning in the West's favor, including popular international support for Ukraine, Kyiv's determination to fight, and newfound transatlantic solidarity. Since then, Russia's initial offensive has collapsed, transatlantic allies and partners have become bolder in their actions, and NATO appears poised to admit Finland and Sweden. 4 months later, we find it important to revisit our thinking. Foresight is a strategic exercise that requires returning to the original evidence. The assumptions and scenarios should be modified in accordance with actual events. If the scenarios are built on faulty assumptions, or if they are poorly calibrated to events on the ground, they will not be useful for policymakers seeking to develop coherent strategies. Miracle on the Dnipro. In this scenario, we forecast the possibility, seen as remote in early March, of an unexpectedly strong Ukrainian resistance forcing Russia to execute a swift withdrawal from Ukraine. This scenario now appears to be no miracle, as a Ukrainian battlefield victory is more likely today than it appeared in early March, strengthened by Western sanctions against Russia and the provision of increasingly lethal military equipment. Ukraine weathers Russia's offensive in the east. With better equipment, higher troop morale, and superior leadership in tactics, Ukraine launches powerful counteroffensives, as they have already done around Kharkiv, where they have pushed back Russian forces to the border, and expels Moscow's troops from occupied Donetsk and Luhansk, as well as from southern Ukraine, where they retake Mariupol and other territory along the Sea of Azov. Then, they prepare for an assault on Crimea. Ukraine's advances are met with increasingly strident escalatory threats from the Kremlin. Although Moscow had degraded the shock value of such threats long before through sheer repetition, both Western and Ukrainian intelligence services place greater weight on the nuclear threat this time because they believe attacking Crimea is a true red line for Moscow. This is the moment when Russia and Ukraine reach an agreement to end the war. Ukraine agrees to stay out of NATO, while Russia agrees to respect the country's pre-2014 borders minus Crimea, the resolution of which is put on indefinite hold, and Kyiv's quest for membership in the European Union (EU). Russian President Vladimir Putin nonetheless attempts to claim a victory and walks away, his attention shifting to his increasingly fragile domestic power base. The transatlantic community is rejuvenated. As a nuclear-armed state, Moscow remains dangerous, but its conventional forces are battered. Finland and Sweden join the alliance, and despite Russian warnings to both countries, their accession is a peaceful one. Putin indicated he would accept Finnish and Swedish membership with conditions. Overall, the European security situation is better for NATO, with Russia weakened and dissuaded from further military adventures and members more united.